That is where we obviously got hit very hard last night over the Red Rocks area. So this is hitting that area once again with hail at least 2 inches in diameter. It is moving to the west or to the east a little bit more. So it's crossing over E470 and 285 and making its way closer into the downtown Denver area. So we're just starting to get some heavy rain. The sky looks very ominous outside. As we zoom out here just a little bit more, you can see near Golden to the north just a little bit. There is some small to moderate sized hail in that area, along with some really intense rainfall. Lakewood, you're getting hit pretty hard right now with some very heavy rain, so there could be some localized street flooding in there as well. Along parts of I-70, we do see a bit of really heavy rainfall as well. So you can see that dark red there on your screen. That indicates some really heavy rainfall. And then also over that kind of yellowish on your screen, I'm going to click on it really quick, and you can see there is hail potentially over 2 inches in diameter in this area, just to the east of the Morrison area. So it is hitting really hard in that spot right there. So again, we obviously know Red Rocks got hit really hard yesterday. Last night, it hasn't even been 24 hours since that happened. We are looking at, again, quite a bit of hail in this area. So if you live in downtown Denver, we do have some active weather coming our way. I would definitely, if you can, park your car inside. I know that's a luxury for some if you can't. I know it could be a bit tough out there with this hail moving through and anything you need to get covered. Maybe you're thinking about taking the dog for the walk. This is not the time to do that. So we're starting to see that big weather move in to the metro area. We talked about this yesterday, probably between about 2 and 4 o'clock, and here it certainly is popping up across the Front Range. These started over near Genesee and Evergreen and now firing off our direction. But man, that hail core near the Morrison area is so big right now. So again, you can see it's not looking very good over there. Once again, this area got hit really hard last night. It's happening again right now. So another round of really big hail and really heavy rain. So flooding is going to be a big concern for us. Really heavy rain in Lakewood, most likely some small hail in this. It doesn't look like massive hail, but there may be some bigger stones in there. And then as we're heading into the Denver area, just outside CBS 4, we have quite a bit of rain that's starting to develop. It's very gray outside, but the worst of that again is near Morrison once again. In Golden, at least according to the radar, your hail isn't too big, but it's probably coming down really, really hard in your area. So again, we have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings that are in place. One's going to expire here in just about 1 minute, so we'll stay on air as that does, just to make sure that it's not being reissued in case it's expected to ramp up just a little bit more. But here in downtown Denver, we may see a severe thunderstorm warning if the storm continues to head our way. But if you're down in that Morrison area, if you live between Inglewood and Littleton, I would brace yourself because there could be some bigger hail coming your way as this storm continues to gain some momentum. So again, you can see we have that big area of hail near the Morrison area once again. And I clicked on it to show you the kind of hail query there. Close to 2 inches. It has been over 2 inches in that area. And again, that's a spot that got hit so hard last night. So again, to the north, we saw that severe thunderstorm warning expire. The hail has really died down in that area. It's still hailing quite a bit if you live near Golden. It's just not quite as big as it was. Up near Arvada, really heavy rain. Commerce City, downtown Denver, this rain is heading our way. It's starting to develop. It's on the light to moderate side, but we do expect it to pick up quite a bit as it continues to make its way to the east. So again, get your car covered pretty quickly. It's raining. You might get a little wet trying to find the garage or some covered parking, if that is something you can take advantage of. I know that's not something that everybody else can do, but again, pretty big thunderstorm over the Morrison area once again, and near Lakewood. Littleton, you're starting to get some hail as well, and that heavy rain is heading your way as well. And then Inglewood starting to get some heavy rain moving your direction. So if you live in these areas, it's going to start to get loud very, very quickly as this storm is continuing to move to the east. Once again, Morrison got hit so hard last night at Red Rocks. We know that what a terrible situation that was. Downtown Denver, heavy rain for us. To the north, Arvada, very heavy rain for you. Golden, quite a bit of really small to moderate sized hail below that quarter size, so it's not quite in that severe thunderstorm threshold. And I want to show you here, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch through 9 o'clock tonight for the Front Range and out toward the eastern plains because we do have the chance still through tonight of getting some bigger thunderstorms. All right, I think we have seen another severe thunderstorm warning pop up for us. Yes, now it does include the Denver area itself. Oh my goodness. Okay, there is the chance for potential baseball-sized hail in this. for the southern Denver area. So Inglewood, Littleton, again, this is coming your way, and there is the potential, as this does, that you could see baseball-sized hail in this storm. This is a very serious situation. If your kids are outside playing, they need to come inside. I know it's summertime, everyone wants to be outdoors, and maybe you have been already today. Again, with the chance of baseball-sized hail coming out of this storm, you need to get inside. No longer worry about the car. This is now coming your way very, very quickly. The time for that is kind of over. As we zoom on out, you can see that heavy rain heading for the downtown area, but we are again in a pretty serious situation with this moving through our way. Golden, you're kind of out of the woods with severe weather, but Lakewood, you can see that severe thunderstorm warning over you. We are going to zoom in real tight here so we can see where that storm is moving. It's kind of out of the Morrison area. You're probably getting that small pea-sized hail or a little bit nickel size, but as we zoom on out here, again, 285, we have some heavy hail getting closer to the Bomar area. You're starting to get quite a bit of hail. And again, that green blob that you see there on your screen, that is indicating some really big hail in this area right now. So I'm going to put the hail query on so we can see almost 2 inches in diameter. So again, this storm is moving east. It's moving fairly quickly, though. This storm continues to plow through many areas. So again, we have a pretty nasty situation moving through. The chance to maybe get your car inside is a little bit over. If you live near Centennial and it's still dry at your house, you may want to do it just to be on the safe side. Highlands Ranch, you may start to get some heavy rain here fairly quickly, but that big hail core is, sorry, what did you say? Oh, okay, sorry. Our director was talking to me here. So you can see we have this big area of hail right now in between Lakewood and Ken Carroll and Bomar. This, again, is coming your way very, very quickly if you live in this area. So along 285 through Inglewood, the Glendale area saw a lot of hail last night as well. That's coming your way. You can see we have a lot of heavy rain in there as well. If you're just joining us here on CBS 4, CBS Colorado, we are breaking into your coverage because we have a severe thunderstorm warning over the Denver area for possible baseball-sized hail. If you remember in 2017, we had that massive storm that blew through. This is kind of setting up to be very similar potentially to that with the chance of baseball-sized hail. So if you live in Inglewood, downtown Denver, the chance for this hail to come your way is arriving fairly quickly. So get the pets inside, get the kids inside if they've been outside playing, because this is a pretty dangerous situation with this massive hail. This is the kind of hail you can get hurt with, like what we saw last night at Red Rocks. It is going to pack a bit of it's going to hurt if you get caught in this. So again, there could be some broken windshields moving through. Bomar, again, this is coming your way. Littleton, you're next because you can see that small hail is heading your direction right now. The purple is the smaller hail. The blue is indicating the bigger hail. So as we zoom on out here a little bit more, golden. Now here's another wave. You're kind of sticking with that small pea-sized hail, or a little bit larger, probably up to about nickel size in your area. So in the northern Boulder County area, we could have a potentially up to $50 sized hail. Sorry, we're going to zoom in up here really quick just for our friends up in Boulder, between Boulder, Niawat, up towards Longmont. There's a chance of some $50 sized hail. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in place through 3:45. As we take a look back in the Denver area, again, man, we just got hit so hard last night in many areas. Now we're getting them during the day. So it's been less than 24 hours since we have seen those big thunderstorms move through. If you live on the southwest side of town, you are fully aware that there is a big storm moving through. It is probably very loud, probably a little bit scary for if you're kids, or if maybe if you're a little scared of thunderstorms. I know that's a very real thing. Just know that as long as you're inside and away from windows, you should really be okay. And with hail like this, you can get some broken windows. So again, just try to remain calm and stay inside, and just know that it's going to pass here pretty quickly, and then you will be a-okay. So let's zoom on in here just a little bit more. We have the severe thunderstorm warning that is in place through 3:45 tonight, with the possibility of up to baseball-sized hail. I will say I've been doing this job in Denver for quite some time, about 11 years. It does not happen very often that we see baseball-sized hail potential in our area, and that is certainly occurring today. It has been a very unique couple of days across the Denver area and towards eastern Colorado. Very interesting atmospheric setup here. And we are getting some really massive hail in this. I wonder, I haven't talked to my director here for a second. Do we have any city cams or anything we can show to have any visualization of what is happening out there? You can see it's just kind of cloudy outside this in this camera here. That got really ominous very, very quickly for us. And we will continue to, of course, keep you updated by on the radar as well. But just there you can see the lightning popping. This is one of our city cams in the downtown Denver area. So we're starting to see a lot more lightning move through. The rain is really picking up for us right now. So it's not quite hailing for us in downtown Denver, but if you take a look at the radar again, once again, near Littleton, this is coming your way. The Beaumar area, you are starting to get some bigger hail moving through your direction. So it is, there comes that thunder. Ken Carroll, you're getting that bigger hail as well. So really between Ken Carroll and Beaumar, we have a long line of some pretty intense hail. And then as we zoom on out just a little bit more, Inglewood, really heavy rain in your area. Littleton, that hail is in your area right now. The big stuff still to come, but you can see near Inglewood that we do have that really heavy rain that is moving through Greenwood Village. That hail is going to come your way here pretty soon. And if you live on the east side of town, not much action for you guys yet. So this is a time that if you can, I would very, very, very quickly get your car inside if that is possible. Get the pets inside, get the kids inside from playing outdoors or anything that maybe you're worried about getting damaged by hail. Otherwise, get inside and, find just know that you're going to hunker down for a little bit here. As we take a wider look, this is not the only area with severe thunderstorm warnings. We do have this one up near Boulder and Longmont and Niawat. There is the potential for possibly up to $50 sized hail in this storm. And as we zoom on out here a little bit more, we've had a couple severe thunderstorms down near Trinidad as well, but really the bulk of what we're seeing right now is in the Denver area. So you can tell it's just really intense in this area. Sorry, I also have a cold, so not the best for that, but really big hail moving through the south side of town right now, and it will continue to keep moving to the east. And we're going to continue to see that storm just going to keep plowing through the south side of town. Littleton, again, I keep saying that this hail is coming your way, and it's going to come there very, very quickly, probably in the next 20 minutes, if it's not there by then. All right, I guess we have someone on the phone. Paul Schlater.
Yes.
All right. Hey, Paul, from the National Weather Service in Boulder. How's it going?
It's going pretty well. It's busy, as you can imagine.
I can imagine. I know it's been a wild couple of days. Talk a little bit about how unusual it is to have these kind of storms back to back and a little bit of what's going on out there.
Well, June is the peak season for severe weather in Colorado, but we have had 2 straight days of higher than usual instability, which fuels these thunderstorms and their ability to generate very large hail.
You know, we know we get hail in Denver, and we know it can be big at times, but to talk about the potential of baseball-sized hail moving through is a unique situation in our area. We don't often see that. We expect that on the eastern plains. We don't necessarily expect to see that, in Evergreen in the overnight hours. So it certainly has been a unique couple of days.
That's right, and we just hope everybody is aware of the storm headed their way and they know what to do to take precautions, especially just, find an interior structure, get away from windows. If you're outside, get inside as quickly as possible, because we saw what happened last night when you're caught exposed to hail of that size. Yes,
it's so scary what happened last night at Red Rocks and in that area. I know you're super busy. We won't keep you for long, so thank you so much for tuning in or coming in with us to chat a little bit. I know there's some bigger weather up by you guys right now with that severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, my pleasure. Just hope everybody stays safe and is ready for this.
Yes, and it could be active well through the day. So again, we have to all be prepared. So thanks for staying with us.
Sure, anytime.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, you can see outside it's very cloudy, and I want to show you the radar here that just how intense that hail is as it continues to move through. It maybe looked like for a second it died down. It did not. Take a look at this hail in this area near the Beaumar area, up to 1.5 inches potentially. So again, we're talking some really big hail moving through our area, especially on the south side of town. Outside the CBS 4 studios, it is pouring rain, but we are not looking at anything with massive hail just yet. We just have some really intense rainfall in that area, in our area at the moment. So north side of town, not as much for us, but again, once you head into the south side of town, we have this big, massive hail. So if you live near Littleton, you have small to moderate size hail at the moment. Greenwood Village, this is coming your way. So make preparations, like you just heard Paul say, get inside. You definitely want to make sure that you're away from windows, because hail can break windows as well, not just damage your roof. And then of course, make sure your cats and dogs are inside, and that you have, that you have everybody inside that needs to be inside. In some areas, you may be done with the chance to move your car. South Glen, also it's getting very close to you. Centennial, you're not under that severe thunderstorm. Oh my goodness gracious, that was a very loud thunder situation. Centennial, you're not under this, but it's going to be really close to you. So I would, if you can get your car inside, definitely do so. And even on the east side of town, Aurora and Foxfield, just to be safe, if you're able to, get your car covered and just make some precautions already. The thunder is intense in downtown Denver. So if you live in the southeastern part of town, I can only imagine how loud it is out there with the thunder and the lightning, and of course, all of that intense hail. You definitely want to make sure that you are finding a safe space in your house. We're not seeing tornadoes, but of course it is loud. It is scary. It's if you have little kids, it might be a little bit scary out there. And I know that there is a fear of thunderstorms out there as well. So just know that this will pass. You are safe in your house. You're going to be okay as these storms continue to make their way to the east. Down near Ken Carroll, we've had some bigger hail along E470 on the south side of town. We're starting to see some hail move through as well. So even if you're not under that severe thunderstorm warning, this is again coming your direction. So it's going to be there pretty quickly, and it's moving on through fast. Littleton, again, you are getting that hail at the moment. This is right outside the CBS 4 studios that we're showing you as well. Just to kind of all that cloud cover showing how ominous it is outside at the moment. So we do have quite a bit of hail. I know I sound like a broken record, but that's exactly what's happening right now. Some really intense hail on that southeast part of town. So we just want to make sure everybody's safe and well taken care of with these storms that are moving through right now. Because again, it is nasty out there. And we know Red Rocks got hit really hard yesterday, and there was a lot of injuries from that. We just want to make sure that everyone is staying safe and that you're not outside or caught off guard by this. We did talk about yesterday the chance for some bigger thunderstorms today. They would come more in the afternoon instead of in the late night hours like what we saw yesterday. But you can see up near Boulder as well, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that's in place through 3:45. So just make sure that you are taking precautions, getting inside, staying inside until the storm threat also goes away. You can see outside the CBS 4 studios there, really dark, ominous. I had a friend who was at Elitch's and texted me, and I said, you got to leave right now because this thunderstorm is coming your direction. And here in downtown Denver, a lot of really heavy rain, no hail for us, but doesn't mean it's not coming. We still have the potential for that. But up near Lakewood, you probably have some smaller sized hail. Littleton, that big hail is over you or getting over you right now. It is certainly heading your way. Inglewood, you're starting to see some smaller hail out there as well. Man, the thunder is actually shaking, it feels like, the CBS 4 building right now. So again, so much rain out there, and localized street flooding is going to be an issue. If you don't need to go outside right now or drive later, even this evening when this passes, a lot of our street areas could still have some localized flooding. So just stay home if you can, or maybe delay your, I know no one wants to stay at work any longer, but if you can, and you've heard of some street flooding in your area, you may want to stay inside or stay a little bit later just to get that clear. Traffic is most likely going to be a bit nasty out there. An update for you here. Down to the south, you see near Roxborough Park, Castle Pines, Highlands Ranch, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued because this is heading your way. I was talking about Centennial, maybe getting things inside quickly or getting your car indoors if you can. You're now under a severe thunderstorm warning as well because, again, this storm is moving through. North side of town, we haven't gotten much hail yet, but really on that south side of town, it is just hammering that area. So, again, Littleton, Ken Carroll, you're getting a lot of hail right now. And if you live in Highlands Ranch, this is coming your way. Lone Tree, I would make preparations as well because this hail is coming and it is really intense out there. The atmosphere is just juiced. It is full of the energy and the instability that we need to get this big hail, and it is certainly developing in so many areas. You know, we don't often want to be wrong at our jobs, but on days like this, you're like, oh, please, maybe not the big hail, but the hail certainly has proven to be a big issue for us over the last couple of days. This all started down near Evergreen and then popped through the Morrison area, Littleton, and well, we know what happened last night in Red Rocks when they got hit really hard. They got hit hard again today. Now left with just some rain at the moment, but again, you can see just how intense that hail is along parts of E470 and up near Littleton and at Beaumar as well. Greenwood Village, you're starting to get that hail. Probably on the small side right now. It's going to pick up here probably in the next 10 to 15, 20 minutes coming your way. Same with South Glen. Inglewood, you may skip the big hail, but I would still be prepared for it as it is very close to your area and it may hit some parts of Inglewood. As we zoom on out, Glendale getting some really heavy rain right now. It doesn't look like hail on the north side of town. Lakewood getting some smaller sized hail. The purple is showing smaller sized hail. The darker colors are showing that bigger hail in your area. So if you live on the southeast side of town, actually now kind of south central side of town, this is where the big hail is at the moment. And then it's going to start shooting out towards Centennial here. You still have a little time in Centennial, but that rain's going to start here soon. And we are going to continue to see some bigger weather move through your area. We will be right back. We're going to keep you updated, but we'll be back here in just a few moments to keep you updated.
Okay, they're right in the middle of this of this storm. So we are tracking severe thunderstorms that have developed in Jefferson County and are moving very slowly toward the east. National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning on that cell, which is now tracking toward the Highlands Ranch area just north of Sedalia and toward Castle Pines north. That tornado warning is out what we're calling Arapahoe County and western Douglas County. That cell, as we've been monitoring, and Corey Reppenhagen has been underneath as it has tracked through Idaho Springs and Evergreen into Lakewood, has shown signs of rotation from Corey and from spotters on the ground, radar indicated rotation as well. And so as that cell begins to move east of Roxborough and Morrison toward the Highlands Ranch area, tornado warning is in effect for that area. And if you are watching and you're in that warning area, we do want you to take shelter, not be out on the roadways if you can. This storm has a history of producing heavy flooding rain and very large hail, and is kind of part of a line of storms which is tracking back up into Boulder County. That cell severe as well, moving east toward Longmont. So large hail, heavy flooding rain, and these storms again have that signature of rotation. And I believe our Steve Stager is sending in some video for us as well. And this is heavy flooding rain in the Golden area, where they have reports of 1 to 2 inches of water running down the roadways there. And we always tell folks, you know, if you don't know how deep the water is, please do not attempt to drive through it. These storms are not moving very quickly. We've been talking with Corey Reppenhagen, and with the hail and the rain, you can't see very far. The visibility is completely limited, and so that could certainly be dangerous for you if you are trying to drive through it and walk through it. And we have new pictures coming in from the Red Rocks area. This is not from last night. This is from today. Round 2 of large hail from a severe cell that moved through there. Our reporter Katie Eastman and photographer Grady running for cover as they're trying to cover this storm and trying to seek shelter from what looks to be ping pong ball size hail in the Morrison area. Again, this is from today, not last night in that area, with a severe thunderstorm that our Katie Eastman trying to cover for us this afternoon. As this cell begins to move into Denver, it is becoming stronger, and it's starting to produce heavy rain not only from Lakewood and Denver, but now it's stretching south into the Highlands Ranch area. And with that, the radar indicated rotation, prompting National Weather Service to issue a tornado warning on that cell that is right over the Douglas County area. And we're monitoring it because the rainfall rates have been pretty impressive as well, but that cell has also produced 1 to 2 inch diameter hail as it tracks off toward the east. So monitoring that, and a separate cell up in the Boulder area, and that one has a decent hail signature on it as well. Lyons out toward the Longmont area. We've had heavy rain as well. And our meteorologist Chris Bianchi is at E470 up there are you still toward the Morrison area? You're coming out of it now.
We're actually coming out of it right now. We're about to go on 6th Avenue here, going east on the west side of Lakewood. We're right where 470 and 70 meet. And I'll show you what we're seeing right now. Kathy, I think you made a really good point just a second ago, talking about, yes, there's a tornado warning. Yes, we're getting this huge, huge hailstorm. And obviously, those two things are the story. But we can't forget about all the water. We're getting just a ton of rainfall, and that is going to lead to some issues. And don't want to overlook that here, because keep in mind, overnight we had the flash flood fatality in eastern Arapahoe County. The amount of water that we're getting, and I probably don't have to tell any of you out there this, the amount of water we've had so far this spring is beyond unusual. It's we're in record territory with the amount of water we've had so far this month, so far this spring, and now into the early summer months. And you can see on the side of your road here, in fact, I'll show you a bit of a better view here on the side of the road. Notice all that water that is ponding on up. That is just, again, just asking for trouble right now. With we've had several patches here of water-covered roadways. In fact, kind of going back over to this here, notice that parking lot with I'm not sure you can see it well there, but there's running water in the middle of what should be a parking lot. This parking lot has basically been turned into what looks to be a river there, and this is just kind of flooding on down. And again, I kind of mentioned this earlier on when I did 9 News at noon. In fact, I'm going to show you a different view of this. Again, notice these kind of streams, these creeks, these rivers. They're really overflowing. It looks like some flooding taking place here on the side of the road here on I-70. But I mentioned this at noon. Kathy, the kind of analogy here, and I wonder if you agree with me, it's normally when you get a rainfall like this, you get a summertime thunderstorm, those happen all the time. But right now, it's like taking a bucket of water and pouring it onto a tile floor. That water, it just spreads. The ground is so wet. It's just absorbed so much water. There is absolutely nowhere for that water to go. So right now, that water is just spreading on out here, Kathy, and we're seeing that all over the place here in Golden, in Lakewood, on the west side of the metro area.
Chris, do you see that as the bigger or biggest hazard for folks that are out there trying to navigate the roadways right now, trying to escape this severe thunderstorm? We did have video coming in from the E4 or C470 area with hail covering the ground on the roadway there, and the road was flooded as well. Is that the biggest hazard that you're experiencing?
Whatever they're doing, they don't have his ear.
So far, yes. With the obvious caveat, what you're seeing on the south side of the metro area right now, a tornado warning should be, again, that innermost room, lowest floor, away from any windows, especially it looks like around Highlands Ranch. And of course, there's that big hail threat with this as well on the south side of the metro area. But yeah, just to your point, Kathy, nobody should be on the roads right now. I mean, again, I know we're out here right now, we're tracking this, but folks, if you have just let this storm pass on by, let these storms move their way on through, because the storm right now is producing this kind of triple threat of the tornadic threat right now over Highlands Ranch, the large hail threat over the South Metro area, and then look in front of us right now. You got water all over the place. This has been an unusual spring, to say the least, and look at the side of the road there, folks. It's basically any sort of downhill angle to things right now is just basically being turned into a running river, and that's a big part of the concern, of course, as well. So all sorts of hazards right now here, Kathy.
That's right. And again, as Chris mentioned, that tornado warning in effect for portions of southern Arapahoe County and western Douglas County. Anyone in and around the Highlands Ranch area needs to take shelter. We are seeing radar indicated rotation, and some of the spotters on the ground are indicating rotation as well. And we have our Corey Reppenhagen, who is out traveling on Mineral Boulevard, and just a heavy downpour, and we're also getting reports of large hail in that area.
Kathy, as you can see right now, right on this dash cam, the wind's blowing extremely hard from our right to left. There's a little bit of hail, mostly rain, and you can the winds are really moving right now. What we did was we got off of Mineral and took a right and went south, went underneath C470, and we're directly under the area where the radar indicated rotation is right now, which was tracking right along C470 down here. As I think we took a right on University, is that right? Broadway. So we're on Broadway right now. We took a right on Broadway, and when we went underneath C470, we encountered that area where the strong rotation is being indicated in the clouds, and so that is translating down onto the ground is very strong, but not a whole lot of rotation. We're seeing a lot of tree debris down on the road, and there are trees down on the road in front of us. So this is kind of where the main area is. We're on Broadway. Let this guy over here real quick. We're on Broadway. Just south of C470, you might be able to see on the camera the trees just shaking in this strong wind, and there are a few small trees down in the middle of the road here. You can see that tree is actually moving across the road, being blown in the wind. That tree in the median there, that's about the size trees of small trees that were actually taken down by this area of rotation. And here's a larger tree. So this is a much larger tree here, and as I'm looking to the side of the road, there are several trees, large trees that are split in half. So this is just to the south of C470 on Broadway. And so we're just moved through that, and we're still encountering those strong winds. We don't have the weather station up and running on the truck at the moment. Here comes a tree. Watch out, watch out, watch out. There, okay. You saw that was a large branch there that just went underneath the tree, underneath our truck. But I would say that these winds are well in excess of 65, 70 miles per hour to be able to rip. Look at these more trees here. Just as we go down Broadway, there's just nothing but broken and bent trees, and some laying out into the middle of the road. And finally, we are coming up here on Highlands Ranch Parkway, and the winds are still strong, but not as strong. So we may be moving away from that center of circulation that was moving through that caused that tornado warning. So guys, obviously you can see why that tornado warning was issued. It's hard to say if there was a large area of circulation that was actually on the ground, but underneath that radar indicated rotation is where we saw those strong winds and all this damage.
Corey, you need to be very careful where you are. They're saying the center of circulation is over northwestern Highlands Ranch, and you are on Broadway south of C470. So you are in the tornado warning area, which includes north central Douglas County and southwestern Arapahoe County. That cell is moving southeast at 15 miles per hour. I can hear the hail. If you need to pull over and seek shelter, please do that. Please be safe. We're getting reports of flying debris in the area, which of course will be very dangerous to those that are caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. The potential for wind damage and hail damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will definitely occur with this storm. Tree damage is likely and occurring, according to Corey Reppenhagen. This very dangerous cell is over Louviers and also Highlands Ranch, and in the path of this tornadic thunderstorm is southwestern Centennial. If you are watching me in Centennial, Highlands Ranch, or Louviers, please take cover now. I'd like you to move to a basement or interior room, the lowest floor of a sturdy building. This is a very dangerous cell. As Corey was showing us, trees are coming down and splitting on the roadways. We need you to avoid windows. We need you to avoid driving. And if you are outdoors in a mobile home or vehicle, move to the closest substantial shelter. Again, this is a tornado warning for north central Douglas County and southwestern Arapahoe County for a cell that is 12 miles to the south of Denver, moving southeast at 15 miles per hour, producing torrential rain and large hail. And we do have a severe thunderstorm warning on top of the tornado warning, which covers Centennial, Lakewood, downtown Denver, Arvada, and Aurora. And there you go. Let's show them where the warning area is. That red polygon, that is the tornado warning warned cell with a hail signature that we're seeing there as well. We'll stop the motion. But the hail is moving north of Highlands Ranch, west of Centennial, torrential rain into Lakewood, Denver, Arvada. And then we also have a severe thunderstorm warning in the Boulder area for cell with a large hail signature as well. And this is one storm that came off the foothills, that came off of Jefferson County and moved right into Morrison and Red Rocks for round 2, sending our ground crew scurrying to shelter and safety. Our Katie Eastman out there, we'll be checking in with her in a bit. We have reporters on the ground. This is the video coming in from Grady and Katie Eastman up in the Morrison area, trying to cover the second round of severe storms in less than 24 hours time after Red Rocks made national news last night with the severe storm that moved through right over the concert and created scenes like this. And this is the scene from today, not last night, as round 2 of those hail-producing thunderstorms producing just kind of a devastating scene up in Jefferson County this afternoon. We're getting reports that we've got some new video coming in from the Ken Carroll area. We've had reports of flooding and hail covering the roadways up there. This video in from the Ken Carroll area. Key to marbles to golf ball sized hail coming in, covering the ground. And these types of storms will damage your car, of course, but you also need to think about animals that you might have left outdoors, a dog in the yard, or horses without adequate shelter, cows, you know, whatever. These types of storms can be very harmful to animals that are left outside, as well as, you can imagine, the vehicles in the area. So our Corey Reppenhagen is driving currently on Broadway south of C470, and he is in the tornado warned area. He's driving along in torrential rain and talking about trees coming down left and right. And I'm not sure if Corey can hear me. Corey, can you hear me?
Parkway.
Corey, are you out there? What can you tell us?
Yeah, Kathy, I can still hear you. Yeah, so we just took a left on Wildcat Parkway here at the end of Broadway, and we're still encountering a lot of those strong winds, and it was amazing. We saw tree damage, and I'm not talking about just small tree damage, but large tree damage, all the way from C470 down to Wildcat Parkway. This, the meat of this storm, when I'm talking about the wind, not the hail, is very impressive. And now as we're driving down Wildcat Parkway to the east, you can still see how organized, there's almost little bands of fast-moving air and with little water droplets. So and I can compare this to some tropical storms that I have been in, and I've been in many of them, where you have these very small water droplets because of this the humidity that we've been having, and it is blowing sideways in the wind, and the winds are blowing almost from the northwest to the southeast, so the very powerful winds. So now that we're on Wildcat Parkway, we're starting to see less traffic. People really just bailed out of the area. When we crossed C470, there was quite a bit of traffic, and you may have seen from that last report that we did, there were quite a few people kind of experiencing that moment with us, where the trees were coming down and blowing across the road. We saw a lot of people just pulled over, and we had some people were pulling into those neighborhoods. But now on Wildcat Parkway, we're seeing a lot less traffic. You can see some traffic coming down the hill in the opposite direction. As we hit this little gully here, there's a lot of standing water down here, so that's another thing that we've been talking about as another potential hazard as you're driving. Really just try to a safe place as soon as you can. But if you are on the roads, it's almost, if you can stop, do it on the side of the road or pull into a neighborhood, but don't do it on the road, because as Darren is driving through this, navigating this storm right now, the visibility has dropped down to 0 several times as we've been driving along this. And so if you're stopped in the middle of the road, that's a problem, because not everybody is doing the same thing. So get to the side of the road and pull over, or pull into the neighborhood, or just slowly get to where you are going. And as we are now we're basically following that area of rotation. As we come up to this stoplight here, you can see that just you almost get a contrast with all the wind blowing across these vehicles that have come out in front of us. We've got one guy there with his hazard lights on, which normally there's another. You normally wouldn't do that, but in this situation, it actually does help to produce some visibility so that you can see other vehicles in the way. So Kathy, we are continuing to follow this. I do feel like we are okay. We are safe. We're kind of behind the main area of where the strongest winds are. I would estimate these winds to be in the 40 to 50 mile per hour range. So it can still bring down some smaller limbs at that speed. But once you get above 58 miles per hour, that's when we're talking about the winds being able to pull down large branches. And then when it gets closer to 70 miles per hour, trees start to bend and come out of the roadway. So you can kind of hear there's a little bit of hail here as well. We're starting to encounter just a little bit of hail as really the hail core, if you want to call it that, because it's so huge, stretches all the way down to Castle Pines from pretty much from 6th Avenue all the way down. So it's a large area of storm, and we're gonna see a lot of damage across the entire south half of the town. But I feel like me and Darren are able to stay in this location and follow the backside of this rotation safely to continue to be able to report and show you some of the conditions that we're experiencing. Just everybody on the south end of town is experiencing this type of storm.
Corey, the most important thing is for you to be safe. National Weather Service is confirming a tornado in Highlands Ranch. It's no longer radar indicated. They're not giving us an exact location of this yet, but spotters on the ground said that, yes, a tornado was reported in the Highlands Ranch area within the last 15 minutes. That area remains under a tornado warning. Again, tornado warning, Highlands Ranch, Louviers. The storm is in the path. Southwestern Centennial's in the path of this tornadic and very dangerous storm. Severe thunderstorm warning for downtown Denver. Torrential rain, thunder, lightning. This cell dropped out of Lakewood, showing rotation. Corey Reppenhagen on the ground there. Following this cell on Mineral Boulevard, down Broadway, C470. Hail covering the ground, water making travel just about impossible. Please don't be out in the storm driving or walking if you don't have to be. And if you are in the Highlands Ranch area, please take cover immediately. We are, again, confirming a tornado in the Highlands Ranch area, and spotters on the ground were confirming that. And this cell is moving toward the southeast at 15 miles per hour. Some new views of this storm. We'll go with our CDOT camera here. This is at I-25 and Ridgegate. This is over the South Metro area. Torrential rain coming down. The evening drive just getting underway, and it's almost impossible to navigate I-25 right now. There is so much water on the roadways. The visibility is so low. It's absolutely dangerous to be driving right now if you don't need to be. We're also getting reports, again, with this cell dropping 1 to 1.5 inch diameter hail as it tracks toward the southeast. And again, this is a live look, I-25 southbound down toward the Ridgegate Parkway area, which means the cell is just now crossing I-25. So those of you that are watching in Castle Rock, Parker, Ponderosa Park, areas in and around Aurora and Centennial, this storm, you are in the path of this storm. And we can almost tell as you look live, look how high the water is coming up on the wheels of these cars that are hydroplaning through the lanes, which you cannot see the lanes on I-25. So if you're waiting for somebody, it's going to be a while because it's just about impossible to drive out there with these conditions. People are pulling off to the side because the heavy rain is first, and then will come the hail. And again, this cell has produced rotation, and National Weather Service spotters are saying a tornado in the Highlands Ranch area. The only reports of damage that we have in and around Highlands Ranch so far are large trees down on the roadways there, in and around Broadway. Wildcat Parkway, Mineral Boulevard areas south of C470. We haven't had any reports, thankfully, of injuries yet. And again, damage so far, reports have been confined to large trees coming down. So it's not safe to be out at all, because simply the potential for flooding with this slow-moving storm on saturated soils from last night is one hazard. We have the tornadic development with that cell over Highlands Ranch tracking southeast, and then you have quite the hail signature with this cell as well. We have our Corey Reppenhagen on the ground out there. We also have our Chris Bianchi. He was up in the Morrison area for round 2 of the thunderstorms, which have just been relentless. And you know what, let's go back to Corey Reppenhagen. And Corey, we're getting reports of, yes, a tornado in Highlands Ranch. Are you seeing any damage other than large trees down? Are you getting any reports of any hazards, any injuries? I'm not seeing that on my end here, thankfully.
No, not yet, Kathy. We have not heard of anything other than just trees down on the roadway. We haven't heard of any injuries. We've driven around quite a bit of these areas, and we haven't seen, any accidents or people in some sort of panic. They're really just trying to get out of the way. We pulled over here just to give my man Darren here a break. His eyes were really straining, and he was white knuckling trying to get through some of these as you were driving down the road, it would very suddenly get down to zero visibility, and so you don't know what's in front of you. So we're just giving ourselves a little break here as we kind of will fall in behind this storm afterwards to try to collect some more information. But as far as that tornado report that was made, we were right there underneath, moving underneath C470 on Broadway, going south, and right when that tornado report was made, and that was almost the moment that you guys came to us for a report, and we were encountering winds that appeared to be mostly going straight line. But I will tell you that I've been in situations where the rotation is so broad that you can be inside of a broad rotation and everything appears to be going straight line. So I feel like a lot of the damage that we've seen, because there's no way there's an 8-mile long tornado, and we drove all the way down Broadway and saw damage consistent with strong straight line winds all the way down until Broadway dead ends. So there may have been little pockets of tighter rotation on the ground, and that may be where that report came. But I think the general look of it all was just a very large area of broad rotation on the ground, which technically you could call that a tornado, because the rotation was attached to the ground and the cloud, and we were really moving as we kind of get back on the road here as we let that storm go by. You can see just the rivers of water trying to get downhill quickly, and we're coming up here, getting back on Wildcat Reserve here, and we'll head east again on Wildcat Reserve, and we'll try to see how people are trying, to manage to get through this with staying safe all along. So we'll continue to report with you as long as the storm moves through the metro area, and we'll stay for right now on this Wildcat Reserve as we move through, Kathy.
Hey, Corey, stay with me for a minute. I'd love your thoughts on this. National Weather Service putting out a tornado warning remains in effect until 4 for north central and southwestern Arapahoe counties. They're saying at 3:31, which is when we were talking with you, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located over northeastern Highlands Ranch, 12 miles south of Denver, moving southeast at 15 miles per hour. Weather spotters had confirmed this apparently at 3:31, and they're saying now in the warning is southwestern Centennial and Lone Tree. So weigh in on that if you would, since you were right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And those spotters may have some distance so that they could actually see some of the cloud as we come up here on some more small debris here on Wildcat Reserve. So they may have had a good vantage point when you're in the center of the circulation, which I believe me and Darren were probably at that time. We were in the middle of that circulation because we were seeing those strong winds. We were seeing trees come out of the ground. We were seeing the wind blow the water, the rain sideways. Very, very strong, and the visibility is very low. So it may have been a case where somebody may have had a vantage point looking at the storm that we were in the middle of, and they may have been able to confirm the actual rotation and the cloud being, that rotation being attached to the cloud. So I would not be surprised at all. So, and I think when you look at, when you say it's a large tornado, I think you'll have kind of a similar thing like we saw yesterday, where when I was in Akron, there was a large area of circulation and there were multiple vortices attached to the ground underneath it, and technically that entire system was a tornado. So it may be a case where the entire circulation can be called a tornado, and then there's another piece of large debris over here, even well to the east on Wildcat Reserve. So even the smaller tornadoes within the larger tornado, I think that is certainly, I would not be surprised if that's the case, and that will take some analysis, I think.
Okay, Coy, focus on the road. I see a lot of debris on the road. Please be very careful. We're going to come right back to you. We want to go again to our CDOT camera at I-25 and Ridgegate Parkway. We have just had torrential rain coming down and hail in the area, and the wind is blowing the camera around, so people have been pulling off of the road wisely. This area in the tornado warning area through 4 o'clock with a cell that's tracking east at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. And it's really hard to see. There's so much water coming down. Visibility is very poor in that area. So again, if you don't need to be out driving on these main arteries right now, we advise not to. Tornado warning remains in effect for this area, including I-25 as the cell over Highlands Ranch begins to track toward the east, toward southwestern Centennial, Lone Tree, and it is moving now southeast at 15 miles per hour. The rainfall with this has been torrential, and last night we picked up about 2 inches of rain in downtown Denver, 4 inches out near the Lyman area and in the town of Elba. So you can imagine that heavy rain falling as it is now on top of these saturated soils will be one of multiple hazards, along with the large hail that we have seen. I'll put this into motion for you so you can kind of see how this is tracking. Severe thunderstorm warning, Centennial, Highlands Ranch. Now we're seeing that tornado warning kind of extend out to the east a little bit. And now we're seeing something new from the National Weather Service. Northeastern Douglas County under a tornado warning. They are experiencing rotation over Lone Tree and some possible tornadic development in that area. If you're in Castle Pines or Parker, this cell with potential tornado will be coming your way, and you are in a situation where you need to take shelter immediately. Again, Parker, Castle Pines, tornado warning until 4:15. Mobile homes could be damaged or destroyed, damage to homes, businesses, vehicles with this cell, which is extremely dangerous coming off the Front Range foothills. The cell is 13 miles south of Denver, moving east at 15 miles per hour.